Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the TF Cast. I'm your host, Willis Stout.
Hey, we got Grum here in the solarium. It's July 13th, 2022.
And I'm your host, Jacob Bases. Today with us, we have Adam Steinke of the Alpine Cafe to talk to us about some new things going on in Old Town, to include the opening of that business. But first, Adam, it'd be nice if you could give us a song.
Glass was full, I kept it clean. On the road, somewhere between this and that, you and me find a place where you can be, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. The sky was red and I felt good. You found your place, I knew you would. 'Cause in and out, this world is mean. The life you want be like a movie scene, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. 'Cause you were happy, and then you were glad, and then you felt lonely, thinking about what you could have had. You know what I mean. Stay out of my scene, trying to keep it all clean. The time has come, the choice is yours. 'Cause you can't trust the judge and jurors, 'cause they don't know, they never seen the life you want in a magazine. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Happy, and then you were glad, and then you felt lonely, thinking about what you could have had. You know what I mean. Stay out of my scene, trying to keep it all clean. You know what I mean. Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's all good. All right, Adam. Well, welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
Different circumstances this time. We're talking about the Alpine Cafe, which is a new addition.
Bistro.
Is it cafe and bistro?
So
Cafe and bistro?
there's a mix there. It's a music cafe or a music deli and a bistro for food. But the intent behind, when I first originally started thinking about this, it was a mix between music and food. And then when our operator took over, and he's kind of the manager of the food, he liked the bistro. So the music bistro doesn't sound as good as the music cafe or music deli. So, but really, it's whatever we want it to be, because it's new and it's exciting, and it's just starting to kind of take off with the music, and so.
Certainly. I stopped in there today, and it seems like things have taken off with at least the bistro side of things. There was a healthy amount of people in there. But what's the vision like for the people who haven't been inside? or have any idea what we're talking about, what can they expect to find when they walk in the Alpine, and what would you like it to be?
Well, day to day, it's a coffee shop and a bistro, and breakfast. It's open 7 to 2, so it's a breakfast lunch type of menu. But meetings, gatherings, things downtown where you're looking for a spot to. I notice a lot of people having business meetings there, or this is where we should meet up, have a coffee, and do some business. And that's kind of when I started envisioning what this spot might be. It was that type of not like an open conference room, but a place where you could come and feel comfortable and sit down and grab some coffee and be right in the center of Old Town. We've done a lot of improvements to the outside to make it feel comfortable and to get people to want to stay there and hang out on the boulevard, which has always been just crabgrass and just garbage for the first 10 years, and now I feel like it's plants and flowers and people doing business and meeting with their families, and all the pictures that I see on Facebook and Instagram are taken out in front of the building there. So it's kind of a cool gathering spot, a spot for culture in our neighborhood. So,
yeah, when I was down there today, I did feel like a little bit more of a sense of downtown, and I felt that recently. I mean, I think it's mostly because in the last week I've had the opportunity or the excuse to shop in Old Town for a few different reasons, and I felt like there's actually things that you can do here, and being able to envision what more walking space would look like there too is a little bit different. But maybe like what's the vision for music?
So the music part, if we've started off like every other Saturday, we're having somebody play music for lunch on the stage. There's a stage in the space that's raised off of the floor. It's kind of a unique situation because it wasn't built as a stage. It was built before, and then we've kind of transformed it into a stage. It's really interesting. I had a musician in there this weekend that always plays standing up, but he felt like on this stage he needed to sit down because you're up above the crowd so much. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a cool, like more of an intimate kind of a show, but it's not, there's not a huge capacity of people we can get in there. It's probably I would consider it more like a listening room. So where you get some really good sound and you get a few really dedicated music fans who just love live music, and you come in there and it's not set up like it's not like a bar setting. It's very intimate, sounds good. And what I really want to do is start to establish that as a place that musicians like that are coming through town or coming through Minnesota would stop and play, and try to build this crowd of people that enjoy music and would come down and pay for something like that to support the artist. And that's kind of my vision of the space, because it could never be a spot where you just have huge music shows or events because of the capacity. So
yeah, the stage is really built up like it's more built like a set. When I was there was plants and records and just all kinds of things strewn about. It was a treat for the eyes. But it has that kind of I don't know, it seems like a spot for singer-songwriters mostly.
Definitely. I mean, we could fit a few people on the stage, but it's more of a spot for somebody to say my idea for my live stream. So we have live stream cameras that will be set up, and once we develop an audience for that and how to build that audience, we'll start to live stream some of these shows. But my thought behind it is we call it cold cuts because it's kind of goes with the deli.
Nice.
But I also want it to be kind of like the song I just played, one of my newer songs, a place for artists to play their new songs and get their new stuff out, and in an audience where it's maybe a smaller audience, but they have some people that could watch it on live stream. And that's, it's always hard to play new songs. That's like for me, I mean, I don't know if it's hard for everybody, but that's like my hardest thing to do in public is play my new songs, because you just get worried about what are people going to think. Really, you shouldn't have to worry about that. But the stage, it's really a comfortable set. Like you say, it's almost like it's like a movie set, and it's got a lot of memorabilia that is from town, from Two Fish Studios, on the
cool.
walls. So there's like a tie to the old music history, and I want to get more of that stuff in there too. I want to build more of almost like a little museum.
Is there a connection there?
The connection is that Christy Shook and James Brzenga, who run the deli, Christy owned the building that Two Fish Studios was in, and Wes Shuck, her husband who passed away, ran that studio. And for years in Mankato, there was bands coming to town that nobody even knew, and were recording albums at that studio, or they were mixing albums. And that studio's been closed for I'd say 7 or 8 years, and there's going to be a transformation there. So I wanted to take some of that memorabilia and give it a spot to kind of have a tribute to some of the stuff that was done in town. Some of my favorite things that are hanging up, if you come in, they had started a business called Moving Records, where they traveled around in an RV, and they would record String Cheese Incident, for instance. Pixies was one of them. They would record their shows as they were playing them, and then have them available on CD to sell to the audience after the show. So they did that for a little while, and then the record companies put an end to that. It was too early. They were too early for the record companies couldn't figure out how to get their cut. So they put an end to it, and it was a big lawsuit. But some of that cool memorabilia is still hanging around, and they were doing something that was kind of state of the art at the time, way before their time. So it's kind of, like I say, a tribute to what had gone on in town. There's a few magnets hanging up, No Alternative Records. There's a couple different, record labels that were early on in town. So it's a tribute. It's a place for new music to happen, and it's a place to bring musicians to town and give them a place to kind of have a spot to do their art, what they love to do. So
yeah, music seems to always have been it seems like you like to bring music into a lot of your projects, or be around music. What does music mean to you, and sort of in general, and then like specifically with this?
Yeah, as far as I can think back, when I was a kid, my mom played guitar at church, and that was like the early on music influences. I didn't start actually playing guitar until about 2000. I would say 17, where I would actually start playing, and then 2018 I played a few live shows. So for me, and I suppose that's a tough question for artists. People ask them about, how do you write songs and stuff, and I don't even know how that really started to happen. It just, it was just something that I felt I needed to do. And I've always been a music fan. I've been a huge music fan. I went to the first Bonnaroo. And I just saw that it had its their 20-year anniversary of Bonnaroo.
Oh, cool. And
I went to the first one, and I've always been, my first show that I can remember going to, I lived in Macon, Georgia, and it was REM. Their show in Macon at the auditorium, and that was one of my first live shows. But I've always been a huge fan. I think it, obviously we've all seen with the pandemic what music has kind of transformed into, which what I like about it is a lot more people are putting their stuff on social media as ways to get out to the people. When they were in that kind of weird predicament of what do we do? We can't play live shows. I can say that I'm glad that I don't have to play music for a living, and then I do it because it's something that I want to do and I feel passionate about. But I feel like if I had to do it for a living, it would be tough. Yeah. It'd be different. Right now I'm just trying to find what to write the next songs about. It's kind of like writing songs is an interesting, what's nice is I don't have any pressure to do it, but, what do you write the next song about? What do you think something's going to be, and for me, it's eventually I'll record these songs and it'll give me a time, later, in 20 years from now, I can sit back and listen and kind of see what I was going through at the time, or what, it's kind of like writing a book, but I don't write books. It's more of putting it into music. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but but I do love music, and I do love bringing music to town, and having events and things like that. So.
Yeah. Seems like the new space speaks to that, and and kind of I see it as how you kind of want to be. You want a space for that where either it's your music that you feel. It feels to me like sort of an artist representation of like a space that you want to see.
Yeah. It would be for me. It's I wanted to create a space that when musicians come into, they're like, "Wow, this is cool."
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want them to feel like the cool factor, and then that opens just up their music, to what they feeling comfortable. And I've noticed from playing live the past couple of years, I'll go into a bar and people are drinking beers and there's beer all over the place, and I'm setting up all my equipment, and I'm just like, I'm more worried about, that kind of what's going to happen. And I want to feel comfortable, and that the stage really makes you feel comfortable in the music setting and what you can do, how you can provide the audience with entertainment. But you're exactly right. It's like my representation of what I wanted to kind of. And when I sat back last night and it was Sunday evening, and just watched and kind of just took it in, it was really cool. So.
How long has it been since like initial ideas were drawn up for the project till now?
Well, the construction project, we were hoping to be open sometime late last year, November, and then we ended up opening this March. But that was a lot of construction these days is tough. There's a lot of lead time issues. But for me, I wanted it to be done right, and I wanted us to have all the kinks out, and when we were open, be ready to open and not have to be chasing around things to get done. So I felt like the timing worked just right. And I'm doing the same thing with the music. I don't want to rush into it and make mistakes and do something that, you can't take back. So it's more about, for me, it's about feeling right about it. And I'm getting to that point. Okay. Where I feel like we're set to go. We can staff it with some people, and we can give the artist a place to play and have a good time. I feel like the guy the other night just had a great, like when you're on the road touring, and you just every night's like getting into the car and going to the next spot, jumping out and playing. Like he had a good, he had a sandwich and he had a coffee and he had, had all the things that he needed to kind of rejuvenate himself. So. But, and next time he comes back, he's going to float the river. So that's the key to the whole kind of situation is make it a spot that the artists want to stop. So.
Is there any particular food or beverage items that you think like that stick out to you, like something that I need to go have?
Well, we just added a chicken sandwich. I don't know if you eat chicken. Yeah. We just added a chicken sandwich to the menu that I've ate the last 2 days. It's kind of like it's a huge McChicken, kind of, but I think it's healthier than a McChicken. I think it's real chicken, So the breakfast sandwiches are all, he mixes them up with bacon and ham, and he even had a red bean one at one time for the people that are into the healthier kind of food. It is a healthy food destination, which wasn't always my intent when I had the deli first in mind. So when it was originally the Alpine Deli, I'm thinking like roast beef sandwiches and all the meat and cheese you can add, and that's okay though, because I'm at the point in my life where I do need to start eating healthier, and we can mix in some options. And the coffee is great too. I know you said you had one today, Jacob.
Yeah, the coffee was good. I enjoyed the roast. I couldn't fault it.
Yeah. We get our coffee from Minneapolis. So kind of a locally roasted, and the drinks are all of the syrups and caramels and everything are homemade, so it's all handcrafted. So,
do you guys have options for people with diet restrictions, like vegan or gluten-free?
We do. Yep. And I found that out the other night, and a lady came in and she wanted a vegan options, and James told her he could make any of his sandwiches vegan. So yeah, we are trying to have stuff for everybody's diets. I know it's tough, but we want to have options for everybody.
Yeah. Well, do you want to do another song real quick? We can segue into some other stuff, or keep talking food.
Whatever you guys want to do.
I'd like to hear another song.
Yeah, let's throw another song out if you got one.
Give us another song, Adam.
I've got like I said, I've been working on some new songs. So
yeah.
This is what it'll feel like to be at the Alpine Cafe as a musician.
So if you guys, I need your help in establishing Cold Cuts as a kind of like a tiny desk concert.
Yeah,
I didn't want to establish an expectation, but when I was looking at this, you have similar like studio lights to what we have, the barn door style, and like the backdrop. I was like, I kind of see them tiny desk vibes in here.
And Tiny Desk was definitely one of my inspirations behind the space, because as you can see when you go in there, you can't have a large crowd. The crowd is limited by the size of the space, but that's okay because, and Tiny Desk concert, I'm sure that only has about the same amount of space.
Oh no, they pack that. If you
I haven't seen the footage.
It is someone's working desk where they work all the time.
His desk.
And I think Wilco was playing it one time, and they turned the camera around, and like I think the whole newsroom was in there. There had to be like. Yeah. It must have been awful.
And there's other ones too. Their Pace Studio, all of these little like just stage setups is kind of my, you want to catch an artist. What I like about our location is if they're coming through 90 Minnesota from either east or west, they can cut up to Mankato in 40 minutes instead of going to the cities. And we can establish that, and we just need some more options. Mankato's been a music town in the past, and I still feel like it is, but I feel like we can do better in supporting music and supporting artists. And we just have to have the options out there. And we do have some good options, and it's just, being able to have spots where people can play as they're coming through. Because as you guys probably know, like you don't want to book somebody specific for your town. You want to catch them when they're on their way through. So it's just an added, and that's kind of how our musician was on Sunday night. He was coming through anyway, so anywhere to play and sell some merch and have some fun and have sandwiches. That's kind of the goal. So,
have you guys staffed an engineer yet, or for either mixing those or just like in general?
No, we haven't. No, that's where you come in.
Hey, you got my number.
Yeah, you guys need to help me establish the online presence or the
cool.
the where people come to the Cold Cuts.
Yeah, that's a strong. I like the name. That's fun.
The name was good.
Yeah, I was gonna get neon lights out back like Miami Vice, but it was gonna say Cold Cuts.
Yeah, that would look cool.
So anyway, I'll do another song here. This is a new one, so I forgot the words the other night when I played it to my own song. So, but this is a song about going to a Luke Combs concert. So I went to a country show, not by my choice, but as a my girlfriend was going, and I had to go, and her friends were going, so I was like, sure, I'll go. But on the way there, I'm like, okay, what can I do to like get through the night? So I decided to write a song. So this is the song that came out of the trip to, and it was Sioux Falls, so it was fun. The crowd was good, and it was after COVID, so I gotta grab a drink of water here. Anyways, this is what I don't do a lot.
This one's for you, Luke.
This one's for all the Luke.
I actually love that guy. He's just doing what he loves.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool to see. And the crowd is crazy, and you'll hear about it. It'll be in the song. Got some tears in my eye, got some pain in my heart, keeps me wondering from the start. About a mile away, short walk through the park, people there loving, breaking their own heart. Shots of fireball, couple bush light tall. We made it to our seats, we even got some White Claw. Sharing my feelings is never the easiest part, but if I could write this country song, it would be a good start. I sing my song, my country song. I sing it all day long, my country song. Won't you sing along to my country song? 'Cause then it's gone, and then you're gone. Rainbows of color, flannel shirts and cowboy boots, drinking from this solo cup just to show my roots. People they're singing all the words to all these songs, bringing back memories that'll never be gone. Sometimes I think I know the ending before it even starts. Maybe I can make a change before it falls apart. 'Cause sharing my feelings is never the easiest part. But if I could sing this country song, it would be a good start. I sing my song, my country song. I sing it all day long. Yeah, my country song. Won't you sing along to my country song? 'Cause then it's gone, and then you're gone. Still got tears in my eyes, still got pain in my heart. It's got me wondering before it starts. 'Cause sharing my feelings is never the easiest part. Maybe I can make a change before it falls apart. Oh yeah, thanks. Like I said, it's a new song, a little, just getting through it and playing it, but you understood the meaning behind it. There we go. Hey.
So we got an engineer on staff.
Yeah, that's good.
Reporting for duty.
Oh, yeah. We should just maybe talk about Old Town a little bit. There's been a little bit of an Old Town facelift.
Yeah, it's I moved to Old Town in 2000. I would call it 2011. That's when I bought my building that the deli's in, or the bistro. Sorry. And there's I think 10 different businesses in that building now. When I had purchased the building, it was vacant. There was one business in it. So, and I've been through multiple kind of rounds of new tenants. I've tried to always be a person who tries to help people, that want to have an office space or start a new business. And if they try to start it and they, depending on how it goes, they either expand and they can move along, or they decide that's not for them. And I let them kind of move on and without a serious lease. So I've always kind of been tried to be that person down there. The building's changed a little bit. It's managed now. I've decided that as my kids grow up and things are busy, that I need to simplify and just concentrate on the things that I need to do the most or spend most of my time on, which is obviously my kids and my business. So I've tried to have some of the other stuff be taken, letting other people take care of it. So that's kind of the process of growing up a little bit, you know, and trusting other people to take something that you've kind of, you know, it was a project that it took a lot of time and energy and politics, but really right now when you sit out on the boulevard and you look across the street and there's a bike shop and a game store and an ice cream shop and a music store and gift shops and other food options, and it just feels really good that that's all happening down there, because I feel like once Madison Avenue opened up in the, you know, early 80s, late 70s, everyone left the downtown, and now it's coming back, and we're not too late yet. Like, it's still cool to go downtown, so we haven't passed that spot, and I think it's going to be like that for a long time, and it's going to take a lot of investment of a lot of people. It takes a lot of people to do something like that and transform a neighborhood back to what it needs to be. But for me, music and culture are the two of the top things that kind of help you recreate your neighborhood. And before I moved down there and bought that building, the city had just decided to do the park, Riverfront Park. So that was kind of my initial, okay, if this is the spot for that, then I want to be somewhere around that for when that stuff's going on, so that we can show people what we're doing. And, you know, when I had the outfitter down there, which is still down there, I don't own the outfitter anymore, but it's still in the building. But just to have the audience and the crowd of people walking by, and I used to, seriously, I'd wait till 8 o'clock at night to wash boats so that people would see me washing boats and give them kind of the full on effect of what we're doing down there. Yeah. And now when you come down, the outfitter's in the basement. It's totally remodeled. We have food options upstairs. Like I say, all the other stuff that's around. When we get tourism, as most people know, tourism was what brings us money. It's not the same us spending our own money in our own town. We need to bring tourism to town. And now I feel like when they come to our old town area, like you say, there's enough stuff to do to spend a day. And that's kind of that's the goal, is to get people to come and spend a day, ride the bike trails, do the kayaking, do any of the art walks and all the other cool stuff that we've got going on. So it's really all that coming together that helps bring the tourism to town, and that's, you know, support, you know, that's what we want.
Yeah, the thing is, especially with Old Town, is when I was down there over this last week, it was starting to look and feel a little bit more like a downtown, like the way that I would think about it. And certainly Mankato's primary downtown area, to me at least, it doesn't feel like a downtown when I would think of like going someplace where you have, like, it's just bars and restaurants down there, and then a lot of them are really kind of like college nightlife oriented. Yep. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, like that kind of like more walkable, like experience the day kind of thing, I didn't previously get that in Old Town. And I think that's the direction. I don't know. I don't actually know who's involved in the politicking of it all. There's
always politics and everything, but
there was some of that. And I guess I wonder, you know, like what goes on, like in the decision making processes of, like, you know, like what are the motives of the people who want to see this, you know, area, you know, changed into.
And I think when I mentioned politics, what my thought was the city needs to back what we're doing, no matter what we want to do. As there's an Old Town Association, which I know what's going on. I don't spend a lot of time. I'm super busy with a lot of different things, but I do read what's going on and I follow what's going on. But more, it's the politics I'm talking about, is getting the city to say Old Town is important to this town, and bringing tourism and the stuff that helps a town progress into the next, you know, it's just as important as hockey games or any of that kind of stuff that's going on. So it's just getting that support, and I think we're getting it with the traffic study, which, you know, people have their pros and cons on that, and I have my feelings on that. I don't like the temporary one or the trial one, because I don't think it makes it stand out, but the idea of it I like, And I think when it's done officially with curbs and everything is done up like it's supposed to be, it's going to work and function in a good way to slow that traffic down and to get people to see that we have all these different new businesses and businesses that have been there and stuck it out. And those are the ones I'm cheering for the most, the ones that have stuck it out and no matter what, we're going to make it. And we're gonna get to the spot where I know they're gonna have another Day of the Dead festival. I don't know exactly what they call that, but that was one of the most fun days in that neighborhood.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That I've experienced in the last 10 years. I know they used to have music festivals downtown and shut the road down, but I wasn't really involved in those like I am now in the neighborhood. So
I share your sentiment about the the visual application of the narrowing of the road. Like, I'm all for the bringing that down and making it a more walkable green space and reinvesting in those businesses. I do also, I have a lot of questions about the second and third, where does that traffic go and what happens to it, and if we have any kind of public transit options that are going to be coming into those spaces too. And I guess it's interesting to see how the city is doing a very public traffic study. What's on the other end of that, and where to find that. I hope that comes out through the Old Town, but through paying attention to this. But have you noticed any differences in the day-to-day foot traffic or what people coming in are saying?
I personally, in my business, I don't notice a lot of difference. I don't have a lot of people come to my office, but I know that the bistro has had better days, and I don't know if it was just a transgression of the business getting more known, or if it was because of people wanting to come down and see the traffic, just come down and check it out and see it. So I think for businesses that the coffee businesses that are down there and the ice cream shops and the sandwich shops, I think they're probably noticing some more foot traffic than, typically we've always been a Saturday foot traffic business area where we want to be more,
And that's coming from Riverfront Park.
Yeah, or just in general, the retail stores doing business on their best business is probably Saturday, where we want to even that out and have good day, better day on Saturday, but have more good days than and that's what the traffic, slowing the traffic down and just being safe. It's not, if people would have just followed the speed limit the old way, it probably wouldn't have felt so dangerous, but people would go 45, 50 miles an hour through there. And for me, when people ask me what I noticed the most, it was when you're coming down, if you're going north or south and you want to take a left turn, and people used to try to get out from behind you to get past you because they would have to stop.
Yeah.
To me, that was the most dangerous part. Now you don't have to do that. You got a turn lane. There's nobody behind you trying to get around you so that they can get wherever they're going 5 seconds quicker.
What about so I hate it. I live in the neighborhood. I don't have a single good thing to say about it. I can't turn on the road safely. I see people almost get hit every day. It takes me twice as long to cross the street. And also all of that traffic is currently going through my and a road over, which are both residents that have children in it.
Yep.
So I see a lot of ways how it's benefiting the business owners, but actually detrimental to the residents in the area. And I really am looking forward to see where all that goes, because as of right now, it has been nothing but a hindrance on my life.
And that's why, when I say what I feel about it, I respect what other people's thoughts are on it too. So it's not, it's definitely, it's a safety, it's a thing that, like I said, I feel like if people would just follow the rules, there wouldn't have been the problems in the first place.
Yeah.
But nobody can follow the rules. And I, being there for 10 years, I have never seen someone pulled over on that road getting a ticket for
very
speeding.
rarely. Yeah,
I've been pulled over on that road.
I've seen people get pulled over for like traffic violations or like swerving, but never just like I've seen cars go by.
Yeah.
I see DUI pullovers when I close at the wine cafe pretty regular. They'll pull them over coming from downtown, and they'll pull them over like right in front of that block, in front of like the Hague or something.
Yeah. At night, late at night. But and I think part of it though is like, and I'm notorious for it too. Like when I want to go uptown, I try to go the fastest way. Well, I think if you can figure out that the fastest way is to get on the highway and go uptown, that's kind of going to be the next route.
Yeah,
that makes the most sense.
Yeah, there's I was complaining about this before you got here, and Jake was telling me that a lot of it's transitionary. Tons of people probably that come to Mankato regularly haven't even been in town since the things have changed, and so a lot of the danger I'm seeing is like the merging.
The merging's horrible right now. That's why I'm saying I don't like the temporary, because it's new and people don't know what's going on, and they're going too fast. But I don't know. Like I say, it's tough. I've stayed out of most of the conversations because I'm just kind of like, whatever happens, I'm going to be good with.
Yeah.
But I do want it to be safer down there, and maybe that's just policing it with, and making sure people don't speed, and if you could make the sidewalks a little bigger on our side, this thing's like that.
Yeah, and I totally am going like old man, like I don't want my neighborhood to change, like. Now there's cars all the time, and also 2nd Street and Broad, most of the houses are street parking too. So this doesn't happen anymore, but the first like week of it, I just like wouldn't park on my street. I would park like either on a perpendicular street or away.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 cents, but I am happy that they're doing absolutely anything to try to promote it as a shopping district. Obviously.
I think hopefully they can find a way that every is not just specific to one. One thing.
Well, that should be the point of the traffic study. Like, because we had basically the same conversation. I was like, well, if it sucks now, they should be paying attention to it, and then the changes should if it's just to like they end up building those changes in, and then they don't address anything, then they're going to need to do another study, and hopefully do the next thing. But you would hope that this is that the reason that we're in this situation is so that we can be in the next situation, and that they want to make these neighborhoods walkable and safe.
Yeah, I recommend going to the little sticker on the sidewalk. I know they had one across the road, but going to that website, and that's where you give your feedback, because that's where the city is going to actually listen to what people are saying.
Yep.
Not Facebook.
I'm just going to tell I want a roundabout. I want 3 roundabouts between the bridge.
Yeah. I want a huge roundabout at the bottom of Madison Avenue and Riverfront. Like a huge one. Like take maybe some of that stuff has to come out of there and just make it. That would make that so much better in that area.
Yeah, that'd be cool too if you could connect both parts of Madison to it, so you could either go up either hill or
or on 3rd Avenue, and kind of,
or like off into my neighborhood back on 2nd.
Yeah, so there's got to be a safe way to come up with making that better.
That would be nice.
So
yeah, I love roundabouts, and I hate 4-lane roads. So.
It's tough. It's a tough situation. I like I said, I listen to everybody's point of view and try to take it in I've hardly been specific on anything, just because it does affect a lot of people in different ways.
Yep.
So
we're big Old Town advocates here. I mean, between all of us, we live, work, and play down in Old Town almost constantly, and it is I want to see that area benefited the most. So it's certainly interesting to hear what you have to say, and notes from the residents along with everyone else. We've now talked about Old Town changes and the bistro. Is there any other bistro stuff you want to chat, or?
Not really. Just kind of, if you're interested, just kind of follow our Facebook. The Alpine Bistro Facebook page right now is probably where we're going to have most of that information, and I'm going to try to bring in some more artists. And develop this live stream where I can have a consistent schedule. And if it's even, like I said, if it's local musicians playing their new songs, getting some new material out there on the live stream and kind of creating a schedule where I think with those things, like you guys probably know, you have to have some consistency, or otherwise people kind of fall off of the. But what I like about the live stream though is we can make short videos that can be on a library that can always be found, which it doesn't have to be seen live to make an impact. But yeah, like I said, as a new artist kind of myself and feeling uncomfortable, and I just want to kind of have that spot where people come in and kind of feel like it's their living room, and they just kind of really get comfortable and make some memories.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're excited to have it in the area. So
yeah, well, thanks, guys. Yeah.
Did you want to play us out?
I'm probably good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I actually haven't played the acoustic for a while, and it's different than my electric.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, thanks for the tunes. Those are
Yeah,
nice.
we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also,